Let's round this thing up with Group O, which I have titled Whoever the Heck is Left. Because, again, Philly, Charlotte, and Cruz Azul, no real rhyme or reason, but who do you got playing where? And who's coming in? Who are the new people?
So Philly versus Charlotte is going to be at Subaru Park in Philly. Charlotte versus Cruz Azul is going to be Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte. And then Philly versus Cruz Azul is going to be at Subaru Park. So two home games for Philly, one for Charlotte, none for Cruz Azul. In terms of big signings, winter 2024 for Charlotte, I've gone for Lyle Abada, who came over from Celtic in a big money move for them. For Cruz Azul, I've gone for Kevin Meyer. He came over from Atletico Nacional. And I've got, I would say, no big signings for Philly. I know they signed some people, but none that I would say has either had a big impact or would be a big money move. Big signings, summer 2024. Nothing for Charlotte or Philly so far. But for Cruz Azul, as we talked about in previous episode, they have signed Georgios Yakimakis from Atlanta.
All right, so then we move into Charlotte, where Dean Smith has revolutionized the side in his first year, making them a defensive unit. Sixth place in the East right now with 27 goals against in 25 games. Very impressive work for a side that really needed a culture shift after starting off and firing their first ever manager in like 6 weeks, and then having an Italian come in and nobody really liked him, and a whole nightmare. But a really good change over the first year. And then a good run in Leagues Cup last year saw them get out in the quarterfinals to the Messi script. They will either want to repeat or improve that this time around. I think they're in a good place to do that, at least defensively. Who are you keeping an eye on?
I've gone for the goalkeeper, giving a little goalkeeper love for Christian Kalina, who I think has been very, very good this year. As you talked about, the team has turned into one of the best defensive teams in this league, and Kalina has certainly played a big part in that. He has a 75% save percentage, 36% clean sheet percentage, but most importantly of all, a 7.3 PSXG plus minus. I do believe he overtook Freese and is now, or he was number one. I don't know if that changed with the most recent games this last weekend, but 7.3 regardless is super, super high. He has been, at least on paper, statistically, so good for them. And will have to continue to be good for them in this tournament, especially in an opportunity where a goalkeeper can be an absolute difference maker for teams.
I like it. Always love a good bit of goalkeeper love. I am going with a returner from loan to Italy named Karol Swiderski. After his loan to Hellas Verona, he's come back to Charlotte, is willing, ready to take on every game, and actually scored in their last match last night. So that is something that I was really as a neutral, I would be motivated to see as a Charlotte supporter, because when guys come back from loan and they think that they're going to stay overseas and they made their big move and everything that works out and they come back, they're usually pretty pissed. But he has come in as a complete pro and has said, I'm happy to be here. This is a great place to be. I'm going to give everything I can. And I think that you end up seeing him in a pretty wide role. I mean, we mentioned Leo Labata out at the Olympics. So I would expect him to be in that wide role, which is kind of where he was before he left. And then Adjuman playing as the 9, I think would be a really interesting way for this to go.
So let me ask you this. How come you don't call out Swiderski when his goal is a penalty?
Huh?
His goal is a penalty.
Okay.
You called out Josef. He had one goal of 5 that are a penalty. But Swiderski is a
I'm sorry.
100% penalty rate, and you didn't say anything.
I'm sorry. When did Karol Swiderski play for Atlanta?
He hasn't yet.
Exactly.
He still
And when he
could.
does, slander. Just instant slander. A team that we really can't slander too much based on their current form, Cruz Azul. The final Liga MX side in this breakdown, currently top of the Apertura on 10 points above Tigres on goal differential, have not lost yet, conceded 1 goal, scored 9. It's been a very good start for them, and they finished second in the Clausura last season. They are in great form. Martin Anselmi has them firing on all cylinders, performing at very high levels thanks to some former MLS stars leading the way. Good results in the league, however, did not translate to the Leagues Cup last year, as I lost in the first round to Charlotte on PKs. Go ahead and tell me why you're keeping your eye on Georgios Giacomakis and why your heart hurts because you wish he was still with Atlanta.
Yeah. You took the words right out of my mouth.
I know.
Yakimakis is my pick for player to watch. He was phenomenal for Atlanta when he was on the field. And that was a big when he was on the field because he was battling injuries so much. But when he was out there, he was lethal. I mean, he's somebody that I compared to Olivier Giroud, just somebody who knows how to score goals, knows how to be in the right place, knows how to score goals. He's continued it in the short sample size so far for Cruz Azul. 2 goals and 1 assist in 200 minutes played. When he's out there, he is one of the most, if not the most dangerous player on the field. And he's going to be a handful, even for a very good defensive Charlotte team.
I literally have in my notes, it says, since Connor's going to tell me all about Georgios Giacomakis, I'm going to pick this guy. So that's how you know we've been doing this too long. Jorge Sanchez is my player to watch, an Ajax transfer who ought to be marauding down the right-hand side as the right wing-back role in a 3-5 back system, it seems that they play. He's going to get forward often, provide lots of service to guys like Georgios Giacomakis to just have a field day. And it will be a really big test for both Philly, who have been a nightmare, and we'll get to that in a second, and Charlotte, who have been very good. It will be really interesting to see how he gets on against two completely different setups, right? And then we transition to the shell of a team that is the Philadelphia Union. And this is the perfect example of MLS insanity. This team in the last 5 seasons have been just one of the best, the prime example of top defensive unit in MLS, great goalkeepers, center backs that are constantly in the defensive player of the year conversation, wing backs that are marauding forward and getting all these assists, strikers who are scoring goals, always in the supporters shield race. And now they are second to last in the East. They've got 42 goals against. And that is 2 years removed from them being literally in the MLS record books for non-COVID goals against. I think they had like 26 in a season, 21, 26, something like that. They've got a lot of work to do if they want to repeat as the third place finishers like they did in 2023. But it's going to be a tough go of it. Connor, who are you watching in this tournament?
So I have gone for the man who has stepped into the place of Julian Carranza. I have gone for Ty Barabo, who has been unbelievably red hot lately. I think he was here last year, but I don't think he played much. I don't know if he might have even been out on loan. But since having his opportunity with Philly, he's got 4 goals in the last 3 games, including a hat trick against New England. I think he's done very well to step in when he's had his opportunities here. He also scored 2 goals against FCC a little bit while back. So I think they're really going to need to rely on him to score goals and to continue to be hot, because it seems like when he is on his game, on his day, he is unplayable. So if we get that version of Ty Barabo in this tournament, then Philly could have a legit chance in a very tough group.
All right, I'll be that guy. The obvious player to watch is Kayvon Sullivan, right? I mean, the guy that everybody's watching, Man City and everybody in England and everybody in the world.
The guy that proves that MLS is a garbage league because they play middle schoolers.
Yeah, but don't bring up any other players, because those players are 2 years older and physically fit and can compete. This guy was just there for record stuff, which sure, but like, did he look out of place when he stepped on the field? No. He had a couple of bad touches because first appearance ever. Didn't look out of place. Anyways, 14-year-old wonder kid, already on a 4-year pre-contract with Man City, broke the record for youngest ever player in American sports, American team sports. What I'm watching is to see how they utilize him, right? I see Club America coming in and being like, you're going to play a 14-year-old against us, and then trying to break his leg. Like, that's just the way they do things over there. I would be really shocked.
By the way, I think you said Club America. Did you mean Cruz?
Oh, see, I have CA written here. So, but if they get to Club America, the same way, right? Like, I think they would look at it as like an insult, and they would like take it out on him, and things would get really, really nasty, which you don't want to have happen. But you also don't want to like hold him back if he really is that good. So I'm going to be really interested to see how they utilize him and what they're going to do to get him involved here. All right, let's finish this episode with a prediction. Finish it up, buddy.
I actually think this is a really tough group to predict. I will say I got Cruz Azul 1. I think that's the easy part of this group. They are, as you said, I think it's a testament to the fact that they were second in the Clausura, and then they're top of the Apertura right now. They're consistently really strong. They have a really good team on paper. They're going to be super hard to beat. I think that's going to continue in this group. So I got them at 1. I almost want to say there's a case for Philly here because if you look at their results for the season, they're an extremely streaky team. They started the year with 7 games unbeaten, and then they had that stretch where they were 10 games winless. But they're kind of getting back to that undefeated streak again, or like that form. They had a 5-1 win against New England, and then they just beat Nashville 3-0 in the last game. Maybe we are starting to see Philly find form again. And clearly at the start of the season, they showed that they can be dangerous when they find form. So if they're streaky, I wouldn't be surprised to see them in second. But I'm gonna back the fact that I think they played 2 poor teams to get those wins. And I'm gonna stick with Charlotte at 2 and Philly at 3. But I think there's an argument for Philly at 2.
Interesting. I should have corrected myself where I said they were second to last in the East because that win last night did bump them to 10th, 1 point away from Atlanta. So I mean they're still in it, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
And it just depends on which part they hit. But I see Cruz Azul ripping them apart defensively. Like they are just not the same team defensively that they used to be. So I do have Cruz Azul at 1. I've also put Charlotte 2 just because I think defensively they'll be able to hold Philly off better than Philly will be able to attack on them. You know what I mean? Like they'll win the game that way, or at least get it to penalties where I think, anything can happen. And then I've got Philly 3. I just think that I honestly think they don't need a deep run here. They need time to just stop, reset, and figure out, like, just clear their head and be like, just play football. Like, get it. Because when you're playing Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, Wednesday, just back and back and back, there's no time to let your mind just let go of those bad results and try and fix things mentally like that. So I think they really just need a couple weeks and just reset and go at it again.